get to see, first of all, look, the number plate, UW, but 7771. 7 is my favorite number. The side of the engine is decorated with the famous victories at Le Mans. The 1924, 1927, 28, 29, 30, and 2003 is even put on there as well. 1930 is this, from this time that this car was built. And Wolf Bonato, one of the original Bentley boys, was of course struggling not only with big, heavy lights, which were not very fantastic, the brakes were really not good. This is directly to the crankshaft, supercharged. You've got leaf springs, not very consistent, but it really worked back then. You have here, you have a little bit of protecting the windscreen, protecting your face. What I like, the fuel tank, quite big, more than 100 liters. Driver changes are pretty easy. I mean, you could even leave with your colleague. He might not have got out of the car before you start your next stint. It's a bit different today, but it's obviously a lovely and fantastic journey back in time. The instrument, you had the fuel pump, you could easily help a little bit. The ignition, you were able to go a bit towards advanced or even retarded if you needed. And the oil temperature, water temperature, the oil pressure, which was quite important. Top speed, I'm told, is more than 200 kilometers an hour if you get a good tow. So 120, 125, 130 miles per hour, then I would be looking forward for the braking point and making sure I didn't do it too late. Lovely day, sun is shining, Silverstone Classic, and what a classic it is. Wonderful step back in time. Lovely heavy steering. Feel you have to work for it. Get it up to third gear. It was a great pleasure being a Bentley boy in 2003 with the Speed 8, with the Le Mans program. Didn't impress too many at the 12 hours of Sebring, but God, we worked together as a team and making a 1-2 at Le Mans. Fantastic time, and you really appreciate the British heritage when you drive this car. And the original Bentley boys being at Le Mans, starting in 1923 and winning so many races during the 20s and the early start of 31. Double clutch. Lovely history. The good old Bentley boys. Being an original must have been something. Never imagined maggots. Oh, the Bentley blower leading into the hangar straight. Oh, God, she's dancing, she's twisting. None of that carbon monocoques. This is working, all part of it. Nearly 100 years old. 100 years as a factory. Quite a privilege. I'm happy camper. It was absolutely a privilege driving this Bentley blower from 1930 around the Silverstone Classic circuit. And I tell you, to drive it, it's fantastic, but it's also frightening. Especially if you are driving up close to, I don't know, 80 miles per hour and looking for the brakes. The brake pedal is to the right of the accelerator, or in other words, the accelerator is in the middle. The clutch is double clutching. You need double clutch. You need first take the clutch, take it out of gear to neutral, and then think fast and put the clutch again and put it in gear. If you wait a little bit, you get this, what you don't want to hear, the dentist certainly, and it's a 4-speed gearbox. And here at Silverstone, fourth gear is pretty good. You want to go down to third at Woodcut, and thanks. Then it was good we stopped, because you start to be too competitive. And look at steering wheel, it has a little bit of play both ways. You can The ignition you control here, going to advanced or retarded, fuel pump here, and I had no time to look at the gauges. It's a little bit like in modern life. That's probably the only thing you can compare to a modern race car. The brakes are okay. The owner said on this car they are very bad, and they are worse than they should be. But it's pretty terrifying and frustrating coming down the hangar straight and sort of looking over the brakes and all right, is that the brake? Nothing really happens until it starts to slow the car down a bit. Fantastic experience. I love it. I love the history. I love the heritage. Can we fire it up again?
Sure.